A lot of people have been asking me how good is CB, or is CB worth it? And are there any things to look out for if you're planning on pulling CB and dropping 30k carats? This is Charles Victor Frontier. I'll be talking about all of these things and more in this video. This video is also going to give you a glimpse of Grandlive and how the deck building and stat lines look into Grandlive. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we talk about her specs and comparing to other wood cards, I want to first talk about her use case in MANT. There are 4 more CMs in MANT, and there is going to be 3 of them where CB is going to be somewhat relevant on these characters, just as an example. Enclosers aren't really that good on Sprinter Stakes. Mr CB has a mid-game skill that Enclosers will be able to use, but the problem is that she is 5 RB. I need to quickly, immediately talk about this. She's 5 RB. You will need to pair her up with 15% RB cards in Trackblazer. And the deck building is somewhat limited on her. If you plan on putting Kina-san Black in her build, it's going to hurt. And there's going to be a little bit of struggle in terms of race bonus. You guys mentioned that you would like to see where the support card is being used, on what CMs and which scenario, so I decided to make this part and put this part in the front first. The average Grandlive deck looks like this. At least 5 of the cards are pretty much locked, and there is 1 slot to slot in a skill card that you will need, for example, a Power Daiichi Ruby for backliners, or Stamina Super Greek for the 2 medium tracks as well as the long Ari Makina track. If you have enough Stam Sparks, or if the track does not require that much stamina, you will go another extra speed or another extra wit card. Usually a 3rd speed card, because how the Grandlive scenario is a little bit harder to consistently max speed. I'll show some examples here. So Grandlive decks basically look like this. Since the stat cap is now 1600 speed instead of 1200, the pressure on speed for a lot of characters will be higher, therefore 3 speed is going to be more viable. If you're 2 speed and your character doesn't have speed bonus, or even if your character has a speed bonus, there will be a little bit of a struggle to max 1600 speed. You kind of just have to live with it. A lot of times on Grandlive, a lot of the aces are just going to be like 1500 something speed. The phenomenon that you're not able to max speed and just land on 1500 speed is going to happen a lot if there is not a 3 speed deck supporting it. Here's a standout example of a Valentine Bourbon that I built with CB Corner Recovery plus Trackblazer Recovery. So this is 1 gold, 1 white, plus Valentine Bourbon unique skill 1.5% recovery on the Kyoto 2200 meter CM, the 2nd longest track on Grandlive. So this was fully Whaled Spark, 12 stam, 6 power, and this is a 3 speed 2 wit deck over the normal Super Creek deck. I think that 3 speed is just much more comfortable on Grandlive, and you're going to be able to max speed much more often, as well as get those big skill point clicks in with triple speed rainbows. The scenario does not reward clicking the race button. You don't click the race button for skill point at all, ever. You need every bit of coin you can get, and you need to click every round of training, as much as possible. Here's a comparison of some of the relevant wit cards on Grandlive. Mr CB Wit, in terms of the training effect, is going to be the 2nd strongest wit card in Grandlive. Fire Motion is still better and is pretty much going to always take up a slot. And for Mr CB Wit, she is going to be slotted in if you're playing an Encloser, or in general if you don't have a 2nd wit card in your account. Tokai Teo Wit, quote unquote, has something going on for her. But she has a slow startup time, requiring you to max all of your bonds up to 100 across all of your support cards to get the full 20% training effect. Notable mention here is Daiwa Scarlet Wit, which, if you're not planning on pulling for CB, or if you want to focus on, say, Marzanski's speed card, then Daiwa Scarlet Wit is going to be a very good pick. She has 40 starting bond, which is the highest starting bond of all the wit cards, if I recall correctly. In Grandlive, where getting an early rainbow is super important, Daiwa Scarlet Wit is going to be super versatile on Grandlive if you are looking for a budget option. Seriously, don't ignore Daiwa Scarlet Wit. Daiwa Scarlet Wit is very respectable and is going to be one of your best friends if you don't have the budget to pull for CB Wit. In terms of Enclosers, CB Wit is used in these CMs. For the QE2 Cup, there really isn't Encloser. Pace Chaser Ogre is just better. I think Teo Show Pace Ogre is also decent, a little bit better. For Teo Show, I think End Ogre is alright. The End Ogre's problem is you need to put a good 10 End Sparks into there, right? So And Ogre is always a pain in the ass to make, and will require you a lot more effort than you otherwise need if you're just going to Page Chaser Ogre. For the Okasho CM, Hanshin 1600, Enclosure Ogre has speed carryover on this track with Festive Miracle. If you're planning on playing Christmas Ogre a lot, then Corner Recovery on the second event on Mr CB, this is a gamble event for random Corner Recovery, it's going to help for building Page Chaser Ogre. Then throughout all of these events, you get 2 extra CMs where Page Chaser Ogre with extra Corner Recovery is going to be good. If I recall correctly, for the Arima Kinen, Ogre wasn't like definitively the strongest, like not even close. She was like an alright pick that required a little bit more effort than the normal Umas. So I'm not going to put like Page Chaser, Arima Kinen, Ogre. Like 777 proc was just way too weak. After Grandlive, CB Wit as well as a lot of the other Wit cards is going to be squished by Mejiro Ramonus. So CB Wit and, for example, Fine Motion will go down to being a strategy-specific Wit card, but then by second anniversary, there really isn't that many good end closers. And late surgers or other strategies, other track-specific Umas is going to pop up one by one. Umamusume is pull speed card, pull Wit card game. CB is a fine pickup, really, it's okay. But like, do you play end closers? Do you need this support card, really? This support card banner has not really much free pulls. Can you get Smaru? Can you get Tachyon? And most importantly, can you get MLB Creek by the second anniversary? Super Creek is your main stamina card for a good 3 years up until the third anniversary, first banner on the Transcend banner, the rerun banner that comes with the Transcend Uma banner. I'll talk more about this in a future video, but like, Super Creek is your main stamina card. And for the second anniversary, you will need Super Creek because you need to open up your borrow slots. We have these resources leading up to second anniversary. So there is going to be 1 free SSR selector, which is most of the time going to go to Smaru for either 1LB Smaru or 3LB Smaru. It's unlikely to go to CB Wit unless you win 200 pulls on CB banner right here and just pity the Mr CB. It's not going to go to CB, it's going to mostly go to Smaru. Time skip for 4 months, and there's another free, potentially 1 to 2 more paid SSR selectors on second anniversary. And throughout this time, if we consider the pace of, say, like 3.5 months for every Limit Break Crystal, it's going to be around 2 extra Limit Break Crystals. Can you MLB Super Creek with these resources? If you force it, it's possible, and you'll be able to borrow the Grandmaster's card on the Grandmaster scenario. Charles, what about the CB Wit and Super Creek banner? The timing on this banner is super awkward. It's like right here, right on the November, and then a few months later, Ramonus comes out, and CB Wit is basically just gone. You pull this banner for Super Creek, but then I also talked about this banner just now, where you want to allocate your resources onto Super Creek and pre-plan ahead for it. Umamusume's resource management is really not that hard. You pull the strongest speed cards, Wit cards. The main stamina card changes once every 2 years, 3 years. It's whatever, just go Super Creek. Guts cards, aside from being skill cards, aren't really main deckable unless you're on MANT or unless you're on 3rd anniversary with Orfever Guts. And then the power card is... what the heck is a power card? Attack power cards. Power cards are terrible. So, should you pull? If you're a whale, obviously pull. If you're a dolphin or below and you plan on playing Encloser, you can drop 200 if you're more than 40k carats. If you main frontrunner, make sure that you have your Smaru in the pull plan and you have enough pull for Smaru. Smaru is functional on 1LB, but for front mains, 3LB is highly recommended. I don't think CB is an absolute must, and you really only pull her if you are in a spot where you don't have a second Wit card. CB Banner is a 30k carat scratch card. You drop 30k carats and then you stop. You don't use a crystal, you only use your free ticket if you went 0 in 200 and only got a pity. Whatever you get, you roll with it. Unless, of course, you're a whale and you have the resources for it. Maru and Taki is so much more important. CB Wit falls off sharply, Maru and Taki hangs on for a good while longer. That's all for pull plan related stuff. Let's take a look at Mr. CB's specs. She has 1 Wit bonus and 1 skill point bonus when the bond gauge is at least 80. She has a starting bond of 20, and in her event, in the second event, there is a chance for extra 10 bond if you roll and win the second event early. Her hit frequency at 1 LB is already pretty decent at 33%. At MLB, she is at 40% hit frequency. Her hint level stays at level 2, which is a good thing because that means if you hit the same hint twice, you'll get level 3 hint into max hint. Her hints are honestly decent. There is straightaway spurt, corner excel, which depending on the track, maybe on a mile track, you can use corner excel, or on a mile or long track, you can use straightaway spurt. There is tail hold high, the strongest generalist speed skill in the game. And there is also medium corners, which has been a little bit of a joke in recent times. Yes, corners are very strong, and getting 3 hints on the corners on this card is pretty nice. Home stretch haste is alright, it gets better on 2nd anniversary onwards. Her second event, as mentioned just now, gives corner recovery randomly if you click top, and also 20 energy. Usually you go top. The hardest stat to push is stamina on Grandlive. So like, Mr CB giving an extra corner recovery is going to help, even if just a little bit. Her last event is Daring Strike. Daring Strike is a 360 cost gold skill that is a 4-second 0.25 if you are 5th to 9th place in a random point in the mid game. This skill is strong and consistent for end closers to push up in the mid game. The proc requirement is much better than a skill of the similar class on, say, a late surger, for example, Fast and Furious, which is a 6th to 9th place mid game skill. But the hint for this thingy is like, it's so expensive. Daring Strike hint 1, and then there's only one source of early start, the white skill, on the small event, which you roll, you get like either 15 wit or early start, hint 1. The specs on this card is pretty complete by 1 LB. The more important part is probably the wit bonus right here. And if you don't have the extra 1 wit bonus, it makes or breaks the entire card. Race bonus is on the low end, as I mentioned earlier. On Grandlive, we don't really care about race bonus at all, so it's whatever. The specialty priority at 3 LB is already complete. The hit frequency is complete at 3 LB. The friendship gauge is complete. The everything else is kind of complete at 3 LB. I already talked about the pull plans and the pull recommendation for CB, so I won't talk about it again. I'm going to be moving on to talking about Ines Fujin. Ines Fujin, her height is 167 centimeters. She is a 15% speed, 15% guts stat bonus. Ines Fujin is a frontrunner. She is famous for winning the derby as a frontrunner. Winning on Tokyo as a frontrunner is really difficult. She was one of the few, the other one being like Sunny Bryan, I think, to win it as a frontrunner on the derby. This is also reflected on her unique skill. You can see this entire page of trigger conditions. The TLDR of this, or like the human way of understanding this, is if you're in the front at the last 300 meters, and if you're coming out of an uphill, which means that if you are on Tokyo racecourse, greatly increase your velocity by 0.45. So on any other track other than Tokyo racecourse, at the last 300 meter mark, there is not an uphill that you can quote unquote come out of. On Tokyo racecourse at the last, like this is the 500 meter stretch, and there's an uphill here, and then at the 300 meter mark, yeah, you just came out of an uphill, so she's going to proc unique skill and going to have 0.45 effect. Yes, this character, this Uma, is kind of a Tokyo racecourse one trick. She has Slipstream, Restless, and then Wild Wind. With her stat growths, you can go Heavy Power Sparks, and then go like Speed Guts Wit into buying Restless gold recovery skill on the derby. Her other gold skill, Wild Wind, is a 1.8 second 0.35 or 0.15 if it's a white skill, and it has like decreased current speed by 0.15 for the 5 Umas behind you. This is a Taobao ripoff of Speed Eater on medium tracks. It's nowhere as strong as Speed Eater itself. Speed Eater is a 3 second 0.15 as well as a decreased 0.15. As Speed Eater is like so much stronger. And the gold skill is just a 1.8 second Taobao ripoff of Speed Eater. I wouldn't say this is like super strong, but Ines Fujin, because of the unique skill on the home stretch, is potential Uma on the derby. She's pretty decent. She can defend against backliners really hard. And if you let her get Rod, it's really strong. And it's difficult to run her down with her unique skill. At the very least, this unique skill is consistent, and there's no awkward, stringent, weird requirement that needs you to be like next to an Uma or like contest another Uma in the mid game or whatever. It's just simple 300 meter if you're in the front, proc. In her events, there is early lead, there is PTO, and front runner straightaways. Her kit has more going on for her than you'd normally think. Like there's PTO built in, there's slipstream built in. It's going to allow for her to have like full overtake combo. Her aptitudes are also very healthy, being Mal A, Medium A, Long C, and also just front runner, which means that she can run Trackblazer very comfortably. You don't even have to care about the Long C, because if you click speed enough with like 650 speed on the first Ari Makinen, you can pretty much win it with angling and scheming. TLDR of Ines Fujin is she's a 1cm wonder. She's good for Derby, and that's it. Yes. Valentine Bourbon is better at the current state. Valentine Ines gets released very soon, right here. So after the New Year event. And this kit is like 10 times stronger than OG Ines. It has Valentine Bourbon unique. It has concentration. It's Valentine Bourbon, but in a different skin. If you like Ines Fujin, just pull the new version of Ines Fujin. Just pull a multi-gift to Ines Fujin, the Valentine version of it. And just run Valentine Bourbon. Valentine Ines is so much better. And that's pretty much it. That's going to be it for this video. Hope it has helped you form an opinion for what to pull for and what to prioritize going forward. For some reason, I feel like the game is like speeding up. They're accelerating even more than normally. This banner was like 3 days away from Cheer banner, and then the Derby CM13 was like 14 days away as well. It felt really quick. I'm probably going to take a break sometime in the future. Like, yeah. I'll handle the stuff that I have on hand right now and get this video out. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. This is Charles the Victor Frontier. I'll see you guys in the next one.